anyone who's listening to this, who's like trying to picture the worst, it's exactly what you're imagining. And it was fabulous, honestly. It was like remarkable. And then the other side of it was absolutely dark and degrading and horrifying.
My favorite guest of the day.
Oh my God, I'm the favorite. That's so special.
Of course. I love Alex. Alex and I worked together. I love how we got right into it.
I know.
It was like, hi. I met her outside when I was taking the trash out. We said our hellos. We came up the stairs. I went to the bathroom, sat down, and we're starting. That literally was like, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Right into it.
No games.
We waste no time around here. No time.
We have business to attend to.
Oh, and that is this yap sesh we're about to get into. The yap of the century.
Yay!
But Alex worked at with me, and I found a great space in her because she showed me, I've always been someone with, you know, a louder voice and wanting to speak and not knowing how that could be seen in the workplace. And so when I met you, you showed me like, oh, you still can be a strong, confident woman and have a voice and not be afraid to use it. And so you showed me how to still shine and not kind of scurry away or go into yourself, because assistants are sometimes overlooked and sometimes not appreciated. So I feel like Alex was like, no, you could speak up, and no, if you have something to say it. And especially because you have your comedy show on the side, I was like, and you could do stuff outside of work. Like truly, like you really showed that to me. And so that's why I wanted Alex on, and why I'm so excited to talk to you, because I saw a lot of myself in you, and I saw a lot of the things I could still do. And it doesn't mean that my life would be different just because I have like a full-time job now.
No,
so,
of course not.
So Alex is on the pod.
That's
and it's
so
making me
sweet.
so excited to have you and talk to you and see where you're at now. She's no longer at the agency, which makes me sad, but happy for you that you've gone in a different direction and found a different space. So I kind of just want to pass the mic off to you and get a little intro.
Well, that was the sweetest thing anyone has literally ever said about me. So thank you so much.
Well, it's true. It's like you really showed me like, oh, I don't have to be quiet to be in this space. Like I can still take up space. In fact,
I would argue that not being quiet is better, because everyone can do the assistant job. Like anyone can learn how to be an assistant and like answer a phone and send an email. But like being somebody of note is what's important in this industry, and being able to like offer value and add value to the space that you're in. And you can't do that by sitting around shutting up.
Yeah, no, totally. And I didn't know that. Like I didn't know how to navigate. I didn't know how to make myself still feel comfortable and seen. And I was like, I don't know what to do here. And then I met you, and it was literally like, oh, okay, I got it. I can still be me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no shame around that.
Yeah.
You know, at all. Just like be you and be free. And so
Of course, with boundaries, we know some people who push those boundaries and it doesn't work out. You know, sometimes, you know, you still have to know your place and know where you fit into everything. But of course, like, I think having a voice is so special and valuable for everyone. Like we all have one, and we don't get to like use it enough. And some people are just like you were saying, like, just like, well, I'm not supposed to, so I'm not going to.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's not right, I don't think.
Exactly. And I kind of want to itch back to the beginning of little Alex post grad, of what got you into it and where you are now in the agency world, and kind of like getting into that before I dive into all the fun stuff.
Okay. Well, I went to USC because I'm very smart and very cool and very rich. And so I went there and I graduated. I studied international relations, and I wanted to be in the CIA. What? Really? Alex in the CIA?
You know that?
Yeah. I was like kind of like gung-ho about it until I went to their like recruitment thing, and they were like, oh, you have to be drug-free for 6 months before applying. And I was like, that's not going to work for me. And someone recently made this point to me. They were like, yeah, I thought about it too, but I figured like they want someone drug-free, but out of all of the applicants, like there are so many that have never done a drug in their life, like that they're just going to overlook the people who have. I'm like, that's true. Like I'm compared to like someone who's squeaky fucking clean. Like why would they hire me? Which also maybe it's because I'm not squeaky clean. I don't know. There's nuance to it, I'm sure. But I was like, that's just not going to work for me. So I was like, okay, let's pivot. My dad's in the entertainment industry. He's a writer. So
I was like, what? My mind was like, wait, what'd you say? Oh,
a writer, for those of you who don't speak French.
Those who aren't cool and cultured and just like as dope as Alex.
Yeah, exactly. But he's a writer, and so I've always been like in that world or around it tangentially in a way. And so it's like, okay, entertainment, let's do that. So initially, I ended up working for a nonprofit, education nonprofit, not entertainment at all. But I did that for 2 years after graduating because I was like, didn't feel ready to join the workforce. I was like, there's still so much to learn. I don't feel like adequate yet. Let me try something else. So I did that 2 years. It was a great experience. I made absolutely no money. And then I was like, okay, let me go do something else. Worked at a thrift store for a second just to like do something. Ended up getting a call from a friend who was like, hey, I work for the social media management company. Like, we're hiring. Would you be interested? And I said, absolutely not. Not for me. But I have a friend who's super into that. So I set up my friend. She got hired at the social media company. Turns out it's not just any social media company. It was an OnlyFans social media company. So OnlyFans management.
I am so tapped in right now.
Yeah. So my friend starts working at this OnlyFans management company and is like, Alex, you have to come. This is the easiest, most fun job. It's ridiculous. And we're making so much money. And I was like, say less. So I quit my job at the thrift store where I was struggle busing every day, like on my feet, like hungry all the time and making no money, and it just smelled like dust everywhere. And I was like, okay, let me go do this thing. I start working at this OnlyFans management company, and basically right off the bat, they just give me a roster of clients that basically it's just these people who have OnlyFans accounts and they don't have the time or energy to run them themselves, and they have enough followers and make enough money that they can hire us to run it for them. And so I would log in as my various clients. Let's say I had like the most I had 8 probably. So I'd log in as them, and all of their content, like it's kind of like Facebook. Like, you know how on Facebook you have like your photo library where you can just see everything you've ever posted. It's like that, but it's private to the person who runs the account. So you can see called the vault, and it's everything, all the pictures you've ever posted in any capacity that you've sent, that you've posted, like everything gets saved, and you can resell things. So that's all private to the person running the account. So I'd go on and have all their content and just resell it. And so you can pick certain things and post them to the website, like to the page, or you can choose certain things and send them in messages behind a paywall. Everything is like locked behind a paywall. And my job was really coming up with like creative ways to sell content, which in OnlyFans world is all, as you can, anyone who's listening to this who's like trying to picture the worst, it's exactly what you're imagining. Like, I'm sexting for sure. That's what I'm doing. And I'm just doing it as somebody else. And that's what I would do. And it was fabulous, honestly. It was like remarkable. And then the other side of it was absolutely dark and degrading and horrifying. There are the darkest depths of humanity on that website, and some of the nicest, sweetest people, but definitely more the depths of humanity on that website. So I did that. It was soul crushing. I made a lot of money.
So 8 hours a day, you would be sexting 8 hours a day and be thinking of ways to sell their content and just like fascinating.
Yeah. So my brain was like,
fried, shot, dead at the end of the day, because you have to be on all the time.
Yeah. And like there are certain hours that are better. So like, I mean, I didn't have to, it wasn't like you have to be at your desk 8 hours. Like it was a very malleable schedule, very flexible, because like I was largely working from home. We went to the office from like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Like it was chill as hell. And it was like 3 days a week. But like if the hour that is best for chatting is 9 p.m., then I'm working at 9 p.m. You know what I mean?
How do they know that?
It's me who knows.
Oh, you would know from the clients. Oh.
Yeah, like it depends on their account and like what their fan base is like and where they're based and where their clients are, like more of their fans are based, and depends, you know? And I was salaried, so I didn't have to clock in. So I was salaried and I made commission. So we took 20% of everything that was earned from our clients, the company, and then as a manager, I got 2% of that total as commission. So 10% of the 20% or something like that.
Sounds
I forget.
like payment wise, sounds like a sweet setup.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
I couldn't complain at the time. But then what happened was, this is a long story, but whatever.
I'm
what ended up
fascinated right now.
Thank you. What ended up happening was I had this one client, I won't say her name, but she was massive on TikTok, had 8 million followers on TikTok. and her OnlyFans was like very good. So when I got that account, she was making about $40,000 a month, which is amazing. That's a lot of money, but we can do better. So I ended up getting on the account and reworking it, reformatting it, getting to know her client or her fans, and grew her account to making $100,000 a month. So I grew it a lot. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, we're making 20% of this. That's $20,000 a month off of this girl. And all the money's going to my sick, gross boss, who is just this disgusting man who ran this company, who's just an asshole and an idiot and like just gross. I want to dox him, but I won't. And then I became friends with her too. That was a big thing. Like, we became friendly. We would text all the time because I was running her account and it was her main source of income. And I would like meet up with her to take photos and to get content. Like, we could hire professional photographers and like rent out a house and like a house in the hills and like take content. We had like the budget for that. So I knew her. So I was like, girl, what if you left the agency and I left the agency and I ran your account on my own and took the full 20%, which would be making a fuck ton of money every month for me. I was like, why are we giving all of our money to this guy who does nothing for your account? He just is the name that created the agency that allowed me to meet you. But other than that, like, what does he do? Nothing. And so I had this elaborate plan. The unfortunate thing is that my boss, that guy, was very paranoid. So this client of mine, our plan was she's going to quit and then I'm going to continue running her account on the side secretly, and then eventually I'll quit and then just do that. So she leaves the agency and immediately my boss starts questioning me. He's like, why is she leaving? Where's she going? Are you still, like, basically he knew what was going on. Like, he didn't know. He did not know. There was no reason for him to know, but he suspected it and he was right nonetheless. So he starts threatening me, literally like, send me screenshots of your texts, stuff like that, which was just crazy. And I was like, no, but I got really scared and like deleted all my texts because I got paranoid that he would somehow like find out. Long story short, she left. He starts threatening me to sue me, even though we live in California, which is a non-competes are not valid in the state of California.
What does that mean?
A non-compete meaning you can't work with a competitor. You can't work with a competing company.
Got it.
Or entity of any kind. And then from the research I did, those are like, a non-compete is not actually legally binding in the state of California. You can sign them, but that doesn't mean that it is going to hold up in court, I guess. So he was threatening me all this stuff. I was like, had some like, backing knowing that. But ultimately I ended up quitting because he was just being psycho. But I was fine because I was like, okay, this girl still quit. I still have her account. I'm still running it. So I quit. It was scary for like 3 days. I was like actually terrified that something like legal would happen. I was like calling my dad, like, do I need to get a lawyer? He was like, probably not. It ended up being fine. But part of his brigade against me was that he stayed and like kept contacting that client, that girl, and was threatening her as well. And she's just some like innocent young, to be frank, idiot of a girl who doesn't know what she's doing. And he was saying all this stuff. I don't know what he was saying, but basically convinced her to go back to the agency. So after I'd already quit, she reaches out to me and is like, sends me a text because she's a coward and was like, hey, like, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to go back to the agency that I was at. And that was that. And so it left me with no job and no income. So that was what happened.
I was like so locked in there. Like nothing broke my focus. Yeah. I was locked in.
So yeah, that was what happened. And it was a blessing in disguise because ultimately, like, working in that industry, it is like soul crushing. It is degrading. It is sad to be exposed to that part of humanity every single day. Is just dark. And so ultimately I knew it was better for me. And so from there I ended up getting a job at the lovely talent agency that we both met at, and made so much less money. Still make a lot less money than I was making, but I have some savings because of it, which is really nice. And but yeah, and now I'm on a better path. Like at the end of the day, like money is not the answer. Money is not everything. I was making more money, but it wasn't as like fulfilling of a job. It was in fact not fulfilling of a job. So yeah, now we're on the right path. I worked at for 2 years. I started as a talent floater in the talent department. Ended up, and you know, one of the ways that I knew that my voice mattered at and like having a voice was important and valuable is everyone around me was like, you can't switch departments. HR, when they hired me, they were like, you're in talent, you can't leave talent. Like it's not like other agencies where you can float around and get to know every department. Like, no, you're in talent. And I was like, okay, fuck that. And so immediately I was very upfront with my coordinator and I was like, I'm really into comedy. I want to be in comedy. And so because I did that, one day the head of the comedy department needed a floater. And because they don't have floaters in their department, but he is an important figure at the company, they were able to reach out to our department and get a floater. And because my coordinator knew that I loved comedy, she was like, hey, do you want to do this? I was like, yeah, I'll float for that guy. That's awesome. On the flip side, I'd always said, I'm going to stay in talent unless this particular agent wants me to work for him, because I really respected his business and his one client. That is like the reason I wanted to work is his client. So I floated for him. He really liked me. And then his assistant quit. So he was like, hey, do you want to work for me? And I was like, yeah. So I ended up working for him and it all fucking worked out really well for me. And then the desk was fine. It was great. I learned an absolute shit ton. It was comedy touring. So that's how I got into the comedy space. But touring was not for me. I knew that. Being an agent was not for me. And I knew that. It's super one-sided, singular view on a client's career, in my opinion, compared to what else is out there, especially management, which is where I am now. So I knew I wanted to pivot into management. And I ended up, through the connections that I had at got a job offer like placed on my lap, basically, because agents that I knew vouched for me and were like, hey, do you want to do, like, you should apply for this, like, we're gonna put in a good word for you. I applied, so now I work for the wonderful and amazing Tova Silberman over at Mosaic, a badass boss of a woman who's younger, hungry in the industry, who's doing the things that I would be doing if I were to step into that role, which is not what was the case at with my old boss, who was like at the top of his game, working with like the best of the best, where people were coming to him with offers as opposed to like grinding and hustling to get your clients work, which is what I want to learn how to do. And so that's where I am now, learning how to do that.
Oh, that was such a beautiful story. Like, that was such a beautiful arc of like beginning, middle, fully tapped into here. It was such a great overview. Like, but how did you find the confidence to say what you feel in a professional setting? I know that's how we started, but like,
yeah,
where did that confidence come from? Like, how did you able to lean into it? I think that's like a valuable thing to learn for people coming in and people who are in.
I mean, I'm lucky in that I've always kind of been this outspoken person. Lucky, and it's a blessing and a curse. Like, it gets me in a lot of trouble in a lot of ways. But I've always been someone who is very comfortable speaking my mind. I don't really know why. I think I was just raised by like outspoken, strong people who encouraged that in me, and around people that cultivated my individuality and my voice. In a way, it was also like rebellion. Like, I'm a rebellious, outspoken person. Like, I don't just take no for an answer. I've been like that my whole life. And I think I hope to be, more than anything, like what you were saying, like an example of that, to allow other people to see that that's possible, because like I just don't know any other way. Like, I can't physically not say something if it's on my mind and if it feels important and valuable. Like, I will find a way to get it heard, whether it's right or wrong or not, you know, like that's, I think it's just like an impulse. So I don't know that it's something that like I can't give advice on like how to learn how to be that way, except to say that I think it's so like everyone's voice is just as valuable. So seeing other people like speak up should be an allowance to you to be able to do that as well.
No, 100%. And I agree with you. I think that I always like, I don't know, but I think it's gotten me in trouble sometimes. It's like brought an attention onto me because my voice is not just I not just speak, but I'm louder. And so it's like sometimes you can be the one to get in trouble even though everyone else was doing the same goddamn thing as you. But it's like,
period.
Oh, you were the loudest. So now you're the one who's like red dot on your head. Like you're dead now. And so it's like trying to navigate that space for me has been so difficult because you're applauded, but at the same time, it's like a bit of like, sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yes. And I think though that's a really special place to be in. Like that's where the change and the juice and the grit of everything happens. Like you're the one that's going to also be you're the one that's going to be remembered. You're the one that's going to be thought of, whether it's for good or for better or for worse. Like, you know, they say no press is bad press or whatever, like for famous people. It's like that, where it's like, yeah, like being the loudest in the room might rub some people the wrong way, but you're also going to get the attention of the right people. Like I think about my company now, people like the guy who runs my company, Jimmy Miller, he's awesome. He's this really cool guy, but he's like the boss. It's a smaller company. So it's, imagine like the head of your department owns the company. And so he walks around and he talks and he's loud and he's like the boss, and you know, people are kind of scared of him. But like my first week I went up to him because I know someone I made a connection with at a client knows him. And so I went up to him and I was like, oh, hey, you know this person, like, you know, he's told me to say hi. And I just got to talking to him. And then in his staff meeting later, he mentioned me by name to the entire company and was like, Alex said hi, like, Tova, nice work, like you got a great assistant on your hands, you know? Whereas like some people might have never even looked him in the eye and been too scared to say something. And yeah, I might have made a fool of myself being like, oh, you know this guy, I know them. And he could have been like, who's this fucking idiot? I don't know you. But it worked out in my favor. And what was the worst thing that happens is I made a fool of myself. Like, okay.
I saw We Bought a Zoo when I was like 12 and they live by the thing of me just I'm like, this doesn't relate at all, and let's just go on. I love it. And what if it doesn't relate at all, and I just wanted to say that. Okay. I'm like, Spy Kids.
Let's start this new conversation.
Pause to laugh.
Yeah.
No, but I live by this quote, 20 seconds of courage will change your life. And then so I shortened it and said 10 seconds of courage will change your life. And so it's just like, do it. No one's thinking about you. 10 seconds of courage. Go up to that person, like say something, make yourself known, make your presence known, because you always regret leaving a space, never saying something. You never regret saying something, even if you embarrass yourself or made yourself feel, oh, like I wish I didn't say that. But I always regret tenfold more not saying something than saying something. And it'll always pay off in the end. Yeah. Even if it fed something inside of you or made them notice you or gave you a greater grounds to stand on in the workspace. It's just plus. Yeah, I agree. And it doesn't mean to be like, I'm not saying to like every time you have a thought, spit it out. And like, if you hate your boss, be like, I hate you. Or, you know, like none of that. Like be discerning and be diplomatic about it. But like get to know yourself and like be comfortable with yourself. And that's how you make it, especially in this industry. It's all relationships and connections. It's so political. And like being authentically yourself, and that is how you get far. And I think that's how you maintain, at least have a good reputation doing it. There are plenty of assholes, but you know, the ones that you want to work with and that you want to be around are the ones that are themselves and that are cool. 100%. You could tell if someone's being disingenuous.
Yeah.
Great follow-up to this. We'll lead in. What does your version of success look like, and how do you avoid comparing yourself to others?
I definitely can't avoid and don't avoid comparing myself to others yet. That's a curse that I have fallen ill to. It's hard, like, especially like I'm still an assistant. I'm 28. I just turned 28. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. But it's hard, like when I'm like an assistant in the same space as people who just graduated from college, and it's like, okay, I've been doing this for a lot longer, like, but we're in the same place. Like that type of thing can be hard, or like we're all making the same money and it's like, please pay me more. I've been doing it for so long. But at the same time, everyone's on their own journey. And like, you know, I have like a perfect example is I produced my comedy show with these two other awesome dope ladies who are now agents, and they're both younger than me, and I'm still an assistant. But then I have to remind myself too of like, I've had a completely different path. Like I worked in nonprofit, I worked in the OnlyFans thing. Like I've done so many other things, and like both of them started this right out of college and then have been doing it. And like, that's awesome. And they're fucking killing it. we have different journeys, and I'm also like, okay, I don't want to be an agent. Like, I was on that path and it wasn't for me, so like, good thing I'm not doing what they're doing. You have to remind yourself of like where you are and what you want, and it doesn't really matter what other people are doing, because at the end of the day, there is space for everyone at the table. It feels like there isn't sometimes, especially in such a competitive environment where everyone's so cutthroat and like feels like you're competing for the same things. But at the end of the day, like, there are a bunch of companies out there. There are a bunch of people out there who will want to work with you and who want to have your back. And so like, there is space for everyone, whether it's at the table you were looking at or at the table next to it, like, there is space for sure. And I think obviously it's also like there's the bottlenecking in the industry. Like, everyone who's in power is old, and then young people are kind of getting pushed out. But then where does the next generation live? That's a confusing thing to navigate as well. But I think as long as you keep doing like what you want to be doing and making the space for the things that you want to be doing, like you're doing right now, you know, you have a podcast and it's something you're passionate about and you're like, I'm just going to do it. Then you will always find your way in this industry, I think.
I did want to bleed into your comedy show because I think that's fascinating.
Oh my God, let's do it.
This comedy
bleed
show
all over it.
That table.
Yeah.
Alex has this amazing comedy show, and they have it once a month, and it's run by 3 women, all in the industry, as Alex said, 2 agents and my main man, and it's just great. I've gone to it a couple times, and it's usually a great crowd. You get great performers, and it's just fun. It's genuinely just fun, and it just feels like you guys know what you're doing. It feels intentional, feels right on the money. It feels like you give like attention to new voices and old voices. You guys just kill it every single time I see it. And I really enjoy it and I respect it, and they have great marketing. I love the
I do all the marketing. I do all the graphics.
Do you really?
Yeah.
They're fantastic. I didn't realize that was you. Oh, they're so fun.
I'm the little graphic designer.
Oh, I'll link on YouTube. I'll link the Instagram so you guys can see Alex's work. It's really, really great. But I want you to touch base on that and what makes you passionate about these comedy shows in general, and why do you keep on doing it?
Yeah. Well, they started as a protest, really.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the 3 of us were all at the time, and we, in the comedy department specifically, would like in meetings mention clients or potential clients, people that were really killing it in the space in LA, locals, mostly in LA, some like others, but that we thought were awesome, that should be considered for signing. And no one cared. People would hope we would shut up. And those conversations would go absolutely nowhere. And it would just continuously be conversations about like the clients we already had who are not working, who nobody cares about, who are nobodies. No offense to that department in that company, but like fucking A, like get a grip. And it was just really frustrating. So we were like, let's put on a show where we can showcase the voices that we think are dope, and people are going to come and laugh and love it. And we can be like, look, told you so. We thought about calling it like Told You So, the show. But we were like, that's too niche. And it's like
right on the money.
Yeah, it's very pointed to like a very specific thing, and no one would get it. So I came up with Loudmouths. I also came up with the Little Ladies. So basically the 3 of us are the Little Ladies. That's our producing entity. And we put on a show called Loudmouths. And so, yeah, it started as a protest, and it turned into just something really fun that we love to do. And as all of us being young people in this industry in representation, it was also a way for us to like get to know up and coming people, like talent. Like for me now, working at a management company, like it's a really great resource for me to bring in potential clients and like showcase them to managers at my company and be like, see, these are people that I think are really great. Like, what do you think? Or people that I want to potentially sign one day that I can start building a relationship with by having them at my show. And the same thing with my producing partners, Shannon and Alyssa. It's the same for them. Like, they want to sign awesome young comedians. And like they both together signed this awesome girl, Ava Bunn, she's not a stand-up. She does like character work. She's an actress, but she's so fucking funny. She was on JFL showcase for New Faces and killed it. And it's just like awesome. And like that's someone we could have on our show. We've yet to find someone to sign from our show, but I see it coming for sure. And yeah, I mean, that's how it started. And then it just continued into something that we're just passionate about and love to do. It's really, like you said, it's just fun. Like, it's a cool, fun thing to do once a month. And for me, it's largely like a networking opportunity with potential clientele. in LA.
What was the most challenging thing for you at the start of the comedy show that no longer feels challenging now that you've been doing it for how long?
Like over a year.
Over a year.
Yeah.
Like the beginning stages, the baby birth to what it is now.
I'll say, I think at first we were all really nervous about our ability to get talent on our show. We were like, oh God, like we're nobody. We've never done this. No one's gonna, like, we have no clout. No one's gonna care to come and be on our show. But I think we learned pretty quickly that comics and performers and talent out there are hungry to perform. And so you can really shoot your shot and get some awesome, great names on your lineups for like independent producing shows because people are hungry and they want to do it. Talent out there, like the way to keep growing as a talent is to continue to work on your craft. And so like if you could do a show every night, I'm sure people would be like thrilled. So the more that's out there, the more that's like, you know, ideal for people. But yeah, so I think that was really scary at first, but it turned out to be one of the least challenging parts because, like I said, people are hungry to do it. And then I think something that was scary in the beginning that's still scary is selling tickets. That's something that never feels easy. Never feels like we've had maybe like 1 or 2 shows that sell out a really like ahead of time because we have like some great comic on the lineup who has like a really strong fan base that want to come see them or something. Like that happened with, we had Mecky Leeper, who's a really awesome stand-up. Shout out. Everyone go check him out. And that show sold out like way in advance. But usually we don't sell out until like a few days before. Like we just have that kind of fan base. A lot of last minuters. And at first it was scary because it's like, how are we going to sell this show? Nobody knows about us. And now it's still scary because it's like, oh God, people don't care anymore because we've been doing it for so long. So that fear always kind of exists. But yeah, I think the whole thing is just as thrilling and nerve-wracking every time I do it. Like it never gets, it hasn't like, I'm not like settled in like, oh, it's easy now. You know, it's still like, oh God, who are we going to get? Oh God, how are we going to get people there? And every time it works out and it's a great time. So I think it's a healthy like dose of anxiety that goes with producing a show.
My anxiety
thinking of killing me.
Song break. What is the greatest thing you've learned through this process? The comedy show, the agency world, being in entertainment.
I think the biggest thing I've learned about the industry through being in it is that it's much more of a political game than I ever realized, which is scary and disappointing to me, but also lends itself to like a fun new challenge and an exciting way to navigate the world. It's political in the sense that it's all based on relationships. Everything you can accomplish is based on who you know. This is the representation side of things. Maybe it's not that different because we interact with producers and development and execs and all of that.
I feel like it's pretty
similar across the board, but I am speaking specifically to representation. But I think the politicalness of it all lends itself to the lesson, which is that it is all about relationships. And so like being a good person is so valuable. And like, of course that's the case in life, like be a good person, duh. But I think in this industry, like to make it, like I think about my boss now, she is the shit. Everyone I talk to about her is like, oh yeah, Tova, like we love Tova. And I'm sure people are hyping her up because like they're talking to me and I know her. But like I also like when my old boss, if I used to say I worked for him, people would be like, oh, you know, like you know who is good and who is bad. And the good people make it the farthest. And being good means like, you know, having integrity, having taste, having values, being a caring, kind person, being like personable when you're interacting with people. Like, you know, it's an industry built on like favors, really. Like it's always like, what can I do for you? What can you do for me? Like scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And like, you should just get really good at scratching backs. But like in a way that's genuine, where it's like, I want to scratch your back because I want to like help you feel better. I want to like satisfy something. I want to be able to offer you something. Like, it's altruistic in a way.
Do you think the days of like those negative, horrible, wretched people who have used to run the industry that are still somewhat in it, like you said at the beginning, the bottlenecking, like, do you think those days are over? Or do you think that those people are not put on a pedestal as much as they used to be? Like, what would you say to those?
I think that those days are ending, not over. I mean, you're never going to get rid of shitty people, like, no matter what. But the industry and like the standard of what people are willing to put up with and like deal with is so different. And I think, so I do think it's changing, and it's ever changing. But like one day when like our generation is at the top and all those other people are dead, I like to think that our generation will have fewer assholes than the one above us. Not none, because that's impossible. And like you still are gonna get like those poor assistants that were abused, who then were gonna grow up to abuse their assistants. Like I'm sure that'll still happen. It's on a psychological level, but I do think it's changing a lot. Yeah, I do.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Even in the way that I see people being treated now, and the older agents that are there, and the ones that are newer, and the way that they treat their assistants, it's like, oh, it's refreshing. Because before I came in, I thought it was just going to be the day-to-day of like, you suck, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, that's not my reality. So it's like, it's exciting. From change comes opportunity, and that's how I look at the current stage of the industry. Like, it is a little, there's havoc being had right now, and it's hard. Like, hold on for what you have, because you never know when it might slip, because it's so crazy out there. But it is refreshing to hear that things are changing.
Yeah.
But at the end of every podcast, we have the guest prior ask a question to this. And I did tell Terrence you were coming, so I did give him that moment to think about a good question that would be fit for you. And his was, what is your favorite memory? He said, don't think too hard, in general, in life.
Oh my God.
And he said, you don't have to think too deeply, just whatever one comes to your head. Just want to share a little moment of joy to the people.
I'll go with, because before we started recording, I told you that I'm going to go to Cowboy Carter.
So exciting.
Now. So I would have to say, when I went to Renaissance, Beyonce's previous tour, when I showed up late. I was literally like, my friend and I it was Shannon, who I produce with.
Yeah,
who
Shannon's great, yeah.
Shannon and I went, and that bitch is a runner. We got dropped off.
Actually is a genuine runner.
She runs marathons.
Yes, she's a runner.
She's a runner. She's a runner. She's a track star.
She actually runs.
Yes,
like a
she does run. And so we got dropped off on the other side of SoFi, and we had to run all the way around. By the time we got to our entrance, my face was beet red. We were running through the halls, like we're going up this ramp, trying to get to the seats. There were floor seats. Hey. Beyonce, she literally gets on stage, starts like, hello, as I'm running, thank you, into my seat. I started crying. Like, I heard her, I heard the crowd. I was like alone in this massive like stadium, because we were in the halls by ourselves, and I love Beyonce, and she starts singing, and I literally started crying because of all the endorphins from running. I don't think it was like a Beyonce cry. It was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like, what's going on cry. But it felt like a movie. I was like, this is what it feels like. Like, this is the moment they're trying to capture in the movie, the coming of age story where the kid shows up at the concert and is like, tries ecstasy for the first time. But I didn't have any ecstasy, unfortunately. So yeah, that was a really great memory. That moment was beautiful.
You have a really great way of speaking, in the sense of like, you just suck me in. Like, I am like in there, right there. I'm sitting next to you in the Beyonce concert. What would be a question you want to leave to the next guest? And you don't know the next guest.
I have no idea who it is.
Yeah, she is a friend of mine. So she's a woman.
Oh, she.
Yeah, she.
A little she, her. Okay.
She, her, hers.
She, her, hers. I want to ask she, her, hers. Well, I was going to say, what's your favorite thing about being in the entertainment industry?
That's a good question.
Is that basic though?
No, it's a good question. That hasn't been asked, and I think that's like it's a good reminder of why you like it.
Yeah, like, let's keep it positive. Like, what do you actually enjoy about this? Aside from like making shmoney.
Making that shmoney.
Which none of us do.
Yeah, but we will.
Yeah.
Who will be throwing those fatty mansion parties?
Me. Actually, I hate hosting.
Really?
So yeah. I just don't like people in my space. I'm happy to host, like, if we're at a different venue. I do not like people in my space. I live alone.
Yes.
With a dog.
I was about to say your dog.
My dog hates people in her space more than me. So yeah, not a host.
I wouldn't have pegged you as that.
Yeah.
Interesting for me.
I'm a host. I'm not a at home host. I'm happy to come to your party though. Please invite me. Please.
I did. I invited you to my birthday party, and you're coming.
Yeah,
I'm gonna force you.
I am.
You're coming.
I'll be there.
She's coming.
I'll bring the party.
She always does. Alex, truly, it was a treat. I'm so glad you came on. I'm so glad you made the time.
I'm sorry I talked so much.
That's what you're here for.
I know, but I feel like I said like too much about nothing.
But that's no. I do not feel that way.
Okay.
As someone on the, I'm getting too look.
No, okay, they're
you.
great. Okay.
Everything you said, I was like, I love this woman. I love this woman.
Aww,
Everything you're saying, it was just so. Yeah, you just have a really good way of explaining things, and I'm so glad you came on.
This is so fun.
I could have yapped and yapped and
yeah,
yapped more.
I could keep going. Can we just stop that timer? Like, there's a timer going.
Stop that
that's
clock.
Being like, yeah, literally, stop that clock.
That clock keeps me on track.
Yeah,
this shit's it's a whole shit.
Yeah,
lights, camera, action moment.
Yeah, whoa, no, blinding.
Go see Alex's show. It's fantastic.
It's the first Tuesday of every month, so just mark that on your calendars.
Alex, my little beauty queen, my bright shiny star. Meow. I miss your presence, truly. Not having you in the office makes me sad.
I'm sad that you're not in my office, so.
I'm sad you're not at my table.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Yeah, you are. We're all at our table. We're all at the table.
You are at the table of God.
Yeah. Jesus' supper.
With that, we bid you adieu, my people.
Yes.
We love you. We bid you adieu. Have the best motherfucking life of your life.
Have the best life of your life.
I like how I said that.
Yeah.
Period. Thank you, my people. Thank you.